Hey, what's up, guys? We got a little different episode this week. I thought it was fun. James and I decided to sit back and reminisce about all the designs we enjoyed over the past decade. And a few other announcements. We want to thank our promotional partner, Design Daily. They are at Let's Design Daily on Instagram. They post amazing design work from designers across the world, so check them out if you haven't already. We also want to ask for you guys to follow on Spotify, like on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It really does help out. We'd really appreciate that. And then Discord. I really want you guys to hop in the Discord and we can all chat about our favorite designs over the past 10 years. And other than that, I think we're good. Let's go. Hey, welcome to Minor Details. I'm Nick.
And I'm James.
And we are two industrial designers in the big city.
Sweating the small stuff. Woo!
James, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. We actually just been hanging out for the past couple hours.
Yes, we have.
Now we were doing a little finals critique at Pratt.
Yes.
We got to see our fellow industrial designer Alvaro Uribe. His class, we had critiqued it for midterms, so we gave critique midterms, I don't know, I guess that was 2 months ago?
Yeah.
And now we get to see the final result, and it's fun to see the progress.
It was very fun and rewarding.
We just get to see the fun part.
Yeah.
It's like he has to do all the teaching, and
right.
we just get to come in and see the...
And we were just like sitting there like, did you listen to our feedback during the midterms?
Some did. Some people did.
Some people did.
There was some cool stuff.
Yeah. No, it's been a full day for me because I woke up this morning at 6:30.
Oh man, that's
because
early. That's time I go to bed.
Jeff Smith is in town, and God bless that man. He put on a 4-hour workshop for Fusion 360.
Right, Fusion 360.
So I ran into him at RIT for the Thought at Work conference, and he was like, I come through New York all the time. I'd be happy to show you through Fusion because I'm an Onshape boy. And
is he converting you?
The conversion has begun.
Oh, really?
He filled the room up with water and then dunked my head backwards and, said a bunch of...
It does feel like the 3D package you choose is very...
It's religious.
Yeah, for sure.
He told me he would take me through it, and so I arranged to meet up with him, and then I was telling another industrial designer friend of ours who I met actually at RIT, Steve Caruso. I was telling him about it, and he was like, oh, can I get in on that? And I had rented this room through Breather. Do you know that app?
What is it? Kind of like a WeWork for just spaces, or what?
It's as far as I can tell, well, now that we work, who knows what we're not working anymore. They're not working. I don't know. But, Breather just takes like spaces within buildings that are not being used, or maybe they purchase them. I don't know how exactly it works. We did it for a brainstorm recently.
Yeah.
But basically you just go onto the app, you find a location, you reserve a time.
And it's all app-based.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I did look into WeWorks, and they were so much more expensive than a Breather space.
It's kind of like Airbnb, but for work.
Yeah, it was awesome, especially, for like small group sort of offsites. And so, seven other industrial designers came out.
That's a lot.
And we had a sweet 4 hours of Jeff Smith. And I really have to shout him out. That was really awesome of him to take us through the program. And he's such a great teacher and like so enthusiastic. It was such a fun time.
Amazing sketcher as well.
Yeah. So
that's cool, man.
It was cool. But
you launched your posters as well.
I did launch my posters. So the posters have been shipping. I've shipped a handful.
Yeah. Check those out.
Yeah.
Where are they at? Idor? Edor?
They're at Idor. Oh God, you got me saying it. Edor, not Idor. Edor.
I thought it turned out nice. I liked your little rendering of the poster in frame.
Yeah, well, I tried to take some photos and it was just not working out.
This is a counterpoint to last week's episode. Sometimes a rendering just is easier.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, if you go to the now I have idoorshop.com.
Oh, new URL.
I'm not a Shopify.com boy anymore.
Baby steps, man. Baby steps.
So yeah, go check out the helicopter poster.
Very cool. That's awesome, man.
And it looks like I did launch my bottle opener.
Unknowingly.
Yes, unknowingly.
Yeah, I guess your newest bottle opener will be launched by the time this airs as well.
Yes. So yeah, go check it out. I mean,
dang, you got a full shop now.
I think these should ship by the holidays. They will ship by the holidays.
This is gonna be released like on Christmas. It's too late. It's too late.
Nick,
I know
Christmas is not next week.
I know,
we still have time. I will drive it to your door if need be.
That is some service right there.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
So anyway, yep, that's my update. That's my status. What about you?
I mean, I guess kind of going off that, you know what? Something I've been dabbling around with.
What have you been dabbling?
I've been buying Instagram ads.
Oh,
yeah. I've turned to the dark side, dude.
With Almost Object?
Yeah, I tried a few ads and it's expensive. I think I dropped like $200 and I tried some Instagram story ads and just some Instagram post ads. It's interesting. Instagram definitely has its way of like learning who engages with the post and then showing that post to more of the same people. So it's weird. It kind of feels like an ad can go in any direction.
Yeah.
Depending on who likes it first.
Right.
My Instagram ad, I think I got some engagement on it, but it was interesting to see some non kind of designy related industry people commenting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some funny comments.
Like Harley Davidson enthusiasts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Right.
And there was a few people making jokes and stuff, which is I'm used to it by now. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't really pan out. I think maybe I got like one organic sale.
Yeah.
And then like I got one email about wholesale, which is
right.
It's something. It's better than nothing.
Yeah. In case it's not clear to people, and because we're pretty open and honest about our little businesses.
Yeah.
But I think it would be nice to completely revealing about the fact that just because we have like the Instagram followings does not equate to customers. It does not transition to customers. Yeah. Like we are very much like figuring out how to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, monetize. But, obviously we've put effort and passion into these projects and we're proud of our designs and we want, people who will appreciate this stuff to buy it. Yeah. And it's not that simple.
I totally agree. I think that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up, James. It does seem like on the outside, or like, I remember when I was like younger and posting on Instagram, didn't have a following or anything, you would look up to the influencers and you're like, oh wow, they get paid X amount of money for a post or whatever.
Right.
And it's not a one-to-one equation, right?
No.
But I will say, I think just because it's not like you can't make money off your Instagram, a lot of other great things come out of it.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's almost like I always equate it to like playing the board game Life, right? Isn't the board game Life?
Yeah, there's a board game called Life.
And you get the life chips, which are like unknown, like kind of, like I think you could probably get like a life chip because you like volunteered at a soup kitchen. There's like all the little like things of life, but at the end of the game, you get to flip it over and they actually have cash in the inside. That's how I kind of think about Instagram. It's like it doesn't actually directly equate to monetization,
right?
But you make connections, and through those connections, you might make more connections and more connections, and then eventually you realize that, hey, 5 years down the road, your career has blossomed, and it's all because you met that one person on Instagram.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, I think the ultimate lesson of life or even just Instagram is that Unless you are taking time out of valuable activities, like if you are just taking time that you would otherwise be doing, maybe non-productive things and occupying it with things that are pushing you creatively and, as long as this is what you want, like if you're doing those things that are pushing you creatively, pushing you out of your comfort zone, something will come from it.
Yeah.
And a case in point, I sent 2 posters to the guys at Render Weekly, Ryan and Tyler, because, I did this helicopter project. I've probably said this story before, but I did that helicopter project and it wasn't like the most popular thing I ever did at the time.
Right.
But then a year later, these guys come to me and they're like, hey, we really want to use your 3D for this collaboration. And I just never saw that coming. Like the enthusiasm for that series has built up over years.
Right.
It wasn't immediate.
Right. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make a helicopter and then I'm going to monetize it right. It's like, it's just something fun you wanted to do.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's a good tangent.
Yes.
I also went to Miami. For Design Miami.
Yeah.
Scat invited me down there. That was a lot of fun. I did do a little impromptu podcast with a fellow SCAD grad, Andrew Greenbaum. So hopefully we'll release that sometime. Probably next year.
In the great unknown.
In the great unknown.
Sometime.
I didn't get to see the banana. The banana was a big thing.
You didn't eat that banana?
I didn't eat it, no. Apparently there was in Art Basel. Art Basel.
Oh, no.
There was a banana taped on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, if you're listening to a podcast, I'm sure that you saw a banana.
Yeah. I went to OG Art Basel in Switzerland.
Whoa, I've never even heard of OG Art Basel.
Well, it's like where the real Art Basel takes place.
Okay.
And I have to say that I don't know if there are events happening outside of the event itself that are much cooler, but I remember walking around and it was like any other trade show.
Yeah.
It was just like booths and booths and booths of artwork.
Yes.
And at some point it's like,
Awesome.
Is any of this valuable?
Exactly.
Like it's just like a little much. I could not appreciate it.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. It was pretty overwhelming and really huge. I think the only thing I remember is like enjoying a nice stack of bricks. I will say I'm a big like Dada fan.
Yeah.
Big Marcel Duchamp fan. I like the fountain. So I didn't get to see the banana, but I definitely enjoy the concept of the banana.
Right.
There's also a stack of bricks that I enjoyed as well. But
yeah, for those of you who have not seen the banana, have been under a banana for the last week.
Yes.
The banana was just
duct tape
a
to the
banana duct taped to the wall.
And it was purchased for $120,000.
Wasn't it also supposed to be like a commentary on the state of art? Was that another thing about it?
But it's so double-sided because it's like a commentary on the
state of art. Wait, it was double-sided tape?
No, that's not the tape. James. But, it's someone still bought it, so the artist still profited. So it's still like, it's just one of those things.
It's like, yeah. Anyway.
That's what I've been up to.
That's pretty sweet.
James, 2019. We're coming to the end of it.
We are coming to the end of a decade.
Yes. Moving out of the 21st century, going into the 22nd.
It's insane.
Just kidding.
It is insane to me. I basically started ID. I guess I technically started it in the fall of 2009, but
our entire careers have been this decade.
Yeah. And it is crazy to think about, to think back on this decade as a chunk of time and to think about what really stood out, what was really significant. And the thing is that it is kind of weird when you judge a decade so close to when the decade actually ends, because it's hard to know in 5 years how you're going to judge 2019.
Right. That's
because fair. When we're looking at this list that we made, it's like you can see big products from 2010 to 2016 because we've had time to digest those things and understand their significance. And even in 50 years, like that's going to be different.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it is kind of a fun exercise to think about things in this time span and
Yeah,
what
so
it means.
I guess this episode is going to be our Decades in Design episode.
Oh, yeah.
We actually did a little crowdsourcing and had our Discord members pitch us their favorite designs over the past decade.
Oh, yeah.
So we've included some of those. And I've included some of our own kind of personal favorites. And yeah, I don't know. I think we should just kind of dive in and just reminisce. Get our nostalgia hats on.
Maybe would it be worth it just to read out the big ones of 2010 just to start there?
We'll just go like 2010.
I'm just going to read them
Let's hear it.
one by one.
Let's hear it.
iPhone 4, iPad, the first iPad,
The original.
about. Motorola Droid,
Oh, yeah.
Jawbone Jambox,
Okay.
Microsoft Kinect,
Mm-hmm.
the Sail Chair, the Square credit card reader,
Oh,
Nest thermostat, and Beats by Dre.
okay. Yeah, that's a solid list there. 2010.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the one that sticks out for me is iPhone 4.
Mm-hmm.
That one was just game changing.
It's still being sold today.
Is it really?
Yes, they
$20? Dang, you can buy one for $20?
I mean, is Apple not still selling an iPhone 4? I thought they were.
No, I don't think it's being sold.
It's
today.
not?
There's no way. No, I mean, I think what you saw there was like eBay, right?
No, I thought they have
There's
like
no way
a
there's an iPhone 4.
souped up
No.
iPhone 4.
No. There's no.
A-
James, it's a decade ago, man.
As of like a year ago or 2 years ago, they had. Wait a minute.
No, James,
Wait
I
a
don't know
minute.
what you're talking about, man.
Wait a minute.
This is the scenario when we're like, oh yeah, 1990s was 10 years ago. This is that exact scenario.
No, they definitely were still selling iPhone 4s as of like 2 years ago. I swear to God.
But the significant thing about the iPhone 4 was this was the iPhone that leaked. Do you remember that story?
Here we go.
Okay, what is
Okay,
it, James?
you can
The iPhone SE.
you can shush your face.
No, it's
iPhone
not the
iPhone SE is basically the iPhone 4.
Yes, so the iPhone SE still has the same square body as the iPhone 4.
Get out of my face.
It's not the
Okay.
iPhone 4 though.
It is the iPhone 4.
It's what, the 5?
No, it's the is it the 5 or
the body
is it
of the
4?
5?
I mean, it's pretty much that is the DNA of the 4. That's
Yes,
the
it is,
DNA that
for
the
sure.
4
Yes.
established.
Definitely.
Get out of here.
I will say the iPad Pro has the
the new
the
iPad
square
Pro.
sides, so
Yeah.
that DNA is in there. But yeah, the iPhone 4 was pretty significant just because it went crazy when it got leaked.
Oh, right.
It was the first phone to ever be. It felt like, I'm pretty sure it was the first phone to really leak and have a significant impact. Do you remember that story?
I do remember that story.
Yeah, because before they had the iPhone 3GS, and all the iPhones had this kind of curved back,
Mm-hmm.
and then some engineer, whoever, left the iPhone 4 at a bar in Cupertino, and someone picked it up, sold it to Gizmodo, and the internet went crazy, and it broke the internet because it broke the 2010 internet.
That it did.
I don't know. It was a pretty memorable moment, and now iPhones leak all the time. Like, it's not a big deal anymore.
Right,
But this was
right.
like the first one I remember.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's pretty thrilling. It was a very much extrude cut, you know.
Definitely.
Got that sandwich vibe.
Yeah.
Got that Oreo vibe.
Metal glass.
But yeah, it is interesting. I feel like it was actually the most securely grippable of the phones.
Yeah, definitely
Like-
not as slippery. It's had those edges.
Yeah, like you would think you would want that curvature for the hand, but honestly, like that very primitive shape was a very secure feature.
Yeah.
But
I think my first iPhone was the iPhone 4, or maybe it was the 4S, but it was that model.
right.
The Droid's interesting. You put that one down.
Yeah,
Droid.
well,
I remember that being a big deal too.
it was a big deal.
They had a good marketing scheme, I think.
Yeah, the Motorola Droid, right? Yeah. Well, that was like the first phone to come out that really seemed to be like an iPhone competitor,
Right. It had that. I mean, the whole Droid thing felt very like super futuristic as well.
Yeah, it was very tech forward.
Was this like the first Android?
I think this was the first Android.
Interesting.
But let me see.
That's I don't quote us on that.
Yeah, I mean this is one of those episodes where we want to hear your opinions. We want to hear where we messed up. But
We made a specific Discord channel for your favorite decade designs over the decade. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think Motorola introduced its first Google Android device, the Motorola Click.
2009, but it was still around the same time.
Around the same time. But
another one that I think was a good one that you put down here, James, is the Jambox.
Oh, dude.
The designed by Bahar for Jawbone. And this was his kind of claim to fame at the beginning, I think.
Yeah.
One of his kind of signature touches was this very textured kind of what's the right word for it? Geometric textured grill.
Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
he extrapolated this kind of, parametric texture on a lot of his products. And you have also the sail chair, which I believe he did as well. Right?
Yes. I would say, I mean, this might be my limited knowledge, but I feel like what Fuse Project did, if they didn't start the physical pattern trend, they certainly popularized it.
Yeah.
And you still feel the effects of it to this day.
This was definitely a big teens trend.
Yes.
Is it 2010s or 20-teens?
2010s? Yeah, 2010s.
2010s. This is definitely a big trend over the last decade.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things that for a while, I think in like the 2000s, it was just sheer minimal.
Yeah.
And I mean, we kind of still see that, but this was where like adding this one touch of pattern, which hadn't really been seen for a long time, I feel like, in product design, just makes an item like feel more elevated, even if it's not more expensive.
It's like new ornate. It was like modern ornate in a way.
Exactly. So it really gave a lot of these products, and really does give products, a feeling of value where it might be the same price as something else. By adding that pattern, you are elevating the value.
Right. And I even think about, I don't know if this is in the same year, but the WD external hard drive that also has that kind of textured pattern. I know that one was a pretty big design for just hard drives, because most hard drives were just square boxes.
Right.
And then Fuse Project did that kind of fluted, kind of, I don't know muscle fiber type pattern. I don't know what you call that pattern.
The usable hard touch. Everything he touched turns to pattern.
That's true.
But it's pretty big deal, the Jawbone Jambox. I got the Charity Water edition.
Oh.
I got this one, the black and yellow.
Little wavies.
It was cool. One of my first purchases, like after having like started industrial design.
Oh, your first big job, and you got that big paycheck?
No, okay. I didn't get anything. No, it was like I want to spend money on like a designed item, something that I really admire. And this is like, I've heard Karam Rashid talking about democratic design, and this was like a democratic product.
It's affordable.
It was like affordable and a beautiful object. And
a lot of people had these.
Yeah. And I loved, like, this was when Bluetooth audio like started to become a really big deal. And now it's, obviously it's everywhere. And it's like, I can't imagine having to leave my phone with my speaker ever again.
Yeah.
You know, having to like stick it in the dock.
Yeah, you remember that in the 2000s, you had your iPod and you had your iHome and you stuck it in.
How would you even look at your Instagram likes? How would you be able to I don't want to run across the room every 5 minutes to check.
Gosh,
Do you?
Things have changed. Things have changed.
I think I don't think we should gloss over the iPad, because the iPad is my parents' favorite computer.
Yeah. Tagline. Tim Cook is stealing that tagline right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal. And I bought my first iPad, I guess it was 3 or 4 years ago when they came out with the iPad and the first generation pencil.
Yeah.
And, I thought about getting the Surface and all these things, but I was like, you know what? There's all these companies like Autodesk and Onshape, and they're doing this like cloud-based stuff or web-based stuff, and pretty soon it's really not going to matter what the hardware is.
Right, we're just have screens now.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of feel nowadays. It's like I have my whole cloud computing set up so I can access my computer anywhere, whether it's on my phone, my iPad, my Surface, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, it doesn't even matter what I have now, as long as it's a screen and it's connected to the internet.
Right. The only time that I ever cringe is if I'm holding my MacBook, my iPad, and my iPhone all at the same time.
Just stacked on top of each other, kind of like carrying them.
Because, I mean, eventually it would be great. Like, it would be great to get rid of the laptop, but
we'll get there one day.
I still do love my laptop.
I definitely think the iPad has evolved into a very significant piece of technology.
Yeah.
I think the original one certainly was dipping a toe in the water, but the evolution of the iPad has really been game-changing for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Any more from this from this year?
I think
2010.
I mean, there's just so much to talk about with 2010.
We could keep going.
I think I think we should just a little bit longer. I mean, Square has completely changed retail.
Yeah. Every single, at least in New York, a lot of the kind of lunch food places use the Square POS system.
Right. And like, do you remember the first time you saw a Square? Because like I feel like I remember seeing it, and it was one of those things where I was like, huh, okay. Like it was like, this didn't exist.
Yeah,
or like it just kind of felt like this accessory, this like weird accessory.
And so I guess the original one was the kind of puck that plugged into the headphone jack.
Yeah, which is totally bizarre.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy that much data could go through a headphone jack.
Yeah,
but I guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah. But and it just appeared, and it was suddenly everywhere.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. Were they just how much was a Square reader initially?
I really don't remember.
I can't
feel
think
like
it was that much.
That one is like a very niche but still significant product.
But more recently, I have to give major props to the Square Register.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about.
I think it's a really beautiful design, and they did have the
flip around one,
swivel one.
Yeah.
Which was kind of odd. And this one is just like such an elegant solution to that whole thing with having the screen on the back.
Yeah.
And you handle all your credit card stuff back there.
I think point of sale is such a difficult place to design.
Yeah.
It's this place that is always clunky.
Right.
No matter where you go, it feels very clunky to pull out your credit card and stuff. So
yeah,
I don't think we've really solved that in this decade, but I think that Square has taken a huge leap forward from past years.
I think so. And they've empowered a lot of like businesses that are starting.
Smaller businesses
to
for sure.
seem more legitimate.
Right.
Instead
of getting like a big clunky IBM like register thing,
right,
like a Target or whatever.
Yeah. And I feel like obviously Nest thermostats are everywhere, but like Beats by Dre.
Beats was big.
Beats was huge.
That was a good marketing scheme. I think Beats had a pretty good solid... the whole marketing of like giving their headphones to NBA players and rappers, and that was a significant thing as opposed to, in my opinion, the design. Like the design's like pretty normal headphone design. I mean, it's clean, it's nice, but I think the marketing scheme behind it was pretty interesting.
I think it was a pretty elegant package, and I think it was designed by Ammunition, that firm.
Okay.
And obviously Dr. Dre is Beats by Dre.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, of course, like there was that immediate link with a lot of people within entertainment, and something that, I mean, maybe we can just talk about it now, but later on in the decade, you get the Beats pill in 2012.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like you cannot watch a music video in the 2010s by a pop star that does not include a Beats product. It's just like that is the endorsement of the decade.
Definitely, for sure.
So anyway, I think we can probably close out the 2010s, but it was a dang good year.
All right, give me 2011, James.
All right, we've got Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation Vita, HTC Droid Credible, OXXO Tot Sprout Chair, and Microsoft Arc Mouse. Not as much of an action-packed year, but some good products that came out of there.
I think I'm not exactly sure what the Droid Credible is. Did you put that one down?
Yeah, I think I put it down because it was another phone that came along.
Kind of like after the Motorola Droid?
Yeah, because HTC was one of the few companies that was like taking real risks during the smartphone age in terms of styling. And I just always remember seeing their work and being like, whoa, that's crazy.
Interesting.
Like all sorts of sculptural elements on the backs of the phones that you just don't really see much of. Everybody is very afraid to do anything other than like sleek, surfaces.
That's fair.
Unbroken surfaces.
Maybe we need a Cybertruck of the phones. We need Cybertruck to come in here.
But I just thought that like I really thought that what they were doing was commendable because they were taking that risk of doing something very different from Apple.
I believe you put down OXXO Tot Sprout Chair, and I'm curious. Tot Sprout Chair. I'm curious what that is. I'm not familiar with that one.
I would say so. I especially remember this one because one of the designers of this chair, Brooke Kennedy, came and
this is a high chair.
Yeah, he came to Virginia Tech, and has been a professor like since my. He came down and interviewed, I guess, my senior year, but he did a presentation of his work, and I remember the OXXO Tot Sprout Chair, and I think the OXXO Tot whole line was kind of like a newer line where they were extending out from just being like
kitchen products.
Yeah, purely kitchen products for adults, and then going into other spaces like with kids. I mean, this is still in the kitchen, but I remember seeing this and just feeling like wow, this is a really beautiful design and something that it seemed pretty significant because I don't think that I was ever looking at high chairs as anything other than, just kind of like necessary.
Right.
And
I mean, it's a quite nice chair. I mean, it has this wooden base to it, some wooden kind of stair steps up to the high chair. And it's
a very thoughtfully designed chair that kind of grows with the child. So I feel like it was one of those things where, it took a market that was like, again, OXXO took a market that was lacking in design,
right,
and gave it something.
That's cool. The one I do know on this list is the Arc Mouse.
The Arc Mouse, come on,
from Microsoft. That one was pretty cool. That one's pretty innovative and unique. This was the Microsoft mouse that was flat, and then it had some sort of, I guess, spring mechanism in it, so that when you clicked it, it would kind of bounce up.
Yeah.
And it had like this flexible tail that kind of like turned into an arc.
Right.
And you could use it as a mouse.
I will say that before they got really serious into the like the Surface
right
stuff, I feel like where Microsoft hardware really shined was in their mice.
Yeah.
I feel like they've had a pretty strong mouse game.
They're on the mouse game for sure.
For a while. But I do remember this in school, us talking about this, us watching a video about the development of this.
Oh.
And it's, it is like a pretty remarkable little design.
There's a video out there about the development?
Oh yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Maybe we can find it.
Yeah.
Should link to that.
I think we should post it if we can find it. But it's like it's one of those concepts that you could of course dream of something like this,
but executing
but to execute on it, I have to imagine this was an absolute labor of love and emphasis on the labor.
For sure.
You know?
This is like an engineer's worst nightmare.
Yeah,
right?
And an engineer's like, it's just a mouse.
Right, exactly. Like no, just make it simple. Yeah.
But no, it's a pretty incredible design. It should not be overlooked.
That's a good one.
2012. I mean,
right.
I'll just go. I mean, Wii U, although kind of a flop.
Wii U.
Do you remember Wii U?
Wii U. Ambulance is coming, James.
Oh my god.
I
forgot who I was sitting next to.
We'll edit that out.
But yeah, the Wii U was kind of a flop. But it did lead us to the Switch. You can see the DNA of the Switch within the Wii U.
I mean, I like how you've put in here a lot of gaming devices, because gaming devices do feel they're always very emotional. Like they have a lot more emotion than smartphones and normal tech products.
I mean, talk about something that's religious. Like we were
gaming,
talking about software earlier.
When you choose a console, that's
when you
even
choose
more.
a company, like a gaming company.
Are you a Nintendo? Are you
I'm
an Xbox?
a Nintendo boy.
Are you
well,
a PlayStation?
I started out as a Sega boy, but we all know where that ended up.
R.I.P.
I've watched so many videos about Dreamcast, about the fall of Sega, and I've done my crying. But yeah, the Wii U, it was an interesting thing. I think the intention was to take the whole premise of the Nintendo DS, which was this dual screen system where you can have information down here, but you also have a secondary screen. So it's like this interaction of the two, and it can kind of lead to just interesting styles of gameplay.
Yeah.
And so I think they were trying to apply that to the Wii U, but it just wasn't quite right, because it felt like this thing that you wanted to be able to take with you.
Yeah. It was like this awkward teenage phase between DS and Switch.
Yeah.
But I think it's still significant. Like
Yes.
each stepping stone is significant. For
I
sure.
was so close. I wanted one of these so bad just to play Zelda Wind Waker, the remake. They or the not the remake, but they like remastered.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I digress. 2012, we got Wii U, we got Oculus Rift.
Significant.
Hey, Nick Baker.
That's me.
Tesla Model S. We got the B&O Play Launch, Dollar Shave Club, Philips Hue Bulbs, MakerBot Replicator, and the Beats Pill.
These are pretty good. I mean,
2012 is a good year.
Definitely, I am a supporter of a few of these products. Obviously,
wait, when did the HTC
Rift
Vive come out?
I don't know.
Was
that 2012 too?
I'm about to look it up.
I mean, the Oculus, I feel like I've always preferred their design way more than the Vive. But did the Rift come out in 2012 as a developer kit, or was that the consumer Rift?
Let's see. So in 2016, the HTC Vive. Wait, 2015, HTC Vive Pre.
Interesting.
Let me see. Oculus Rift. We're doing some research on the fly here, people, so bear with us. It's great radio, I know. So it looks like it was introduced in August 1st, 2012.
So I think this was like the dev kit, right?
Oh, yes, it was.
Which is still significant. It was the very first kind of entry into VR.
Right.
And
so the actual Rift itself let's see,
The consumer version.
2015.
Right. And that kind of coincides with the Vive as well.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it's when it was announced.
Which is still pretty, like, the next level of tech. We've had these screens, and then going from screens to VR. I mean, that leap, 2012, significant,
Yeah.
Tesla, that's a good one.
Tesla
Model S.
Come on. I mean,
That was the first one, right?
do we really need to say anything about Tesla that we haven't already said in the Cybertruck episode?
We're good with Tesla. I think B&O was a pretty nice ad here, James.
Oh, man.
The Bang & Olufsen play line that's a little more democratic and accessible. I just bought some Bang & Olufsen headphones. So it's nice that it's like high quality design and audio at an more affordable price point.
Yeah. I just remember like the launch video, which was with the BioLit. And it was this Danish guy. He's probably a very significant person at Bang & Olufsen, but he was like, we got people from fashion design to come in and to help us with the B&O play. But it was like a stunning thing because, here were these other Bluetooth speakers that were much more on the tech side of things.
Yeah.
And what B&O Play did was to add materials like leathers.
Yeah.
And just these like really nice perforated steels. I mean, the
that
BioLit,
Scandinavian touch, man.
Yeah, the BioLit was very much like an Apple product, and it did have its own pattern to it.
This is just a large portable speaker. It's like
Yeah.
a big extruded rectangle.
It did have its own pattern with it, with this sort of disappearing dot pattern on the side. So not unlike the Jambox, but one of my favorites is the A9.
Is that the circular Bluetooth
Yeah.
speaker? That one is beautiful. I mean, that one is just simple.
It's furniture, man.
Now this one's not B&O Play. This is a pure Bang & Olufsen product.
No, it's B&O Play. BO Play.
Oh, I thought this was
No. This is a part of the BO Play line.
interesting. I mean, this is pretty iconic. You've all seen it before. It's a simple circular kind of speaker with the 3 wooden legs. Very Scandinavian.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if this was released in this past decade. Was this?
Oh, absolutely.
What?
Yes, it was released. It was released after the BioLit.
I mean, I'm not up on my Bang & Olufsen.
But I mean, for a company to come out with a statement like this is just like the reason that you want to be a designer.
Yeah.
Is to hopefully work for a company like this one day that'll take a risk and say like, let's put wooden legs onto a pure circular speaker.
For sure.
And it has like touch capacity, like, you can just like swipe over the top of it to turn the volume up and down. And yeah, there's just, I don't think that there has been really a clunker in the entire B&O line.
Yeah.
B&O Play.
I mean, Bang & Olufsen is a very unique company in their design approach. And I think that's certainly, they've spun it as a very distinct style.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, James? We're running out. We're already on 20. We're on 2012. We got 8 more years, man.
Listen, just buckle up.
Should we go? Okay, we might go long.
I mean, we have to talk about the replicator. We have to talk about MakerBot replicator.
The boom of consumer level printers, I think, was significant in this past decade. Hadn't really touched consumer level in previous. Obviously, 3D printing's been around since like the 70s, but MakerBot kind of pioneered in this past decade, as well as a lot of other smaller guys have come up.
Right. I honestly I thank God every day that I'm an industrial designer who's working during the time of 3D printers because
if you had to shave that foam,
oh God, I would be dead. It is an amazing thing that we are able to design during this decade. Cause my first job was like CAD all day, print overnight, review,
it's magic, man. It feels
and
like magic.
edit, and it is magic. it's one of the best feelings in the world to pull a fresh print off and
Definitely.
to like really feel your design, because before now, like if you were a smaller company or a small studio, like how much would you have to spend for 3D printing?
A lot of money.
Yeah. And now it's like it's much more democratic, and like if you were one of those small studios, all you had to rely on was just, you had to create a model yourself somehow and just make sure that you had that, like everything matched the model that you had made in the CAD, and send that off and hope for the best. I mean, there's just so much more stress on the development, I feel. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are veterans who can tell me otherwise, but unless you're at some of those big companies that could have afforded to use 3D printing technologies before, this is a huge deal for this decade.
Yeah, we're so lucky.
Yeah.
Man.
All right. Moving forward.
2013, James.
2013. Got
What we got?
Sonos Play 1, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, UE Boom, Google Chromecast, Fitbit Flex, and Google Glass.
Ooh, wow. Well, we got a lot more blue. I feel like every decade has a Bluetooth speaker.
Right.
That is the 2010 trend. Is there's a Bluetooth speaker in every decade.
Yeah. And got to give it up to Sonos.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all these Bluetooth speakers seem significant. They feel like they each made a statement, which is interesting because it's just a way to play music.
Right. But the Sonos, like, really, I don't know. I think that's been a huge deal.
They've really built a strong brand for sure.
I feel like when I was growing up, if you went to somebody's house that had surround sound, or like you'd be like, God, you guys are loaded.
We had surround sound.
Loaded. But I feel like, again, Sonos made that possible at a much more democratic level, and with significant ease,
And it was
not any sort of invasive installation.
right. So like Sonos was pioneering the whole, hey, you just buy a bunch of speakers, or maybe just a few, like 3, and they all connected together.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whereas my dad, who put surround sound in our house, had wires running everywhere through the walls and everything.
Yeah, and the great thing is like we have Sonos speakers, and like you can buy, you start out with one, and you can like increase, and they all just keep staying connected. So I think that one's pretty significant.
I think the other thing that's nice is you kept in the gaming consoles here. I think the unique thing about PlayStation and Xbox is that it's not like a smartphone cycle. They release new hardware every couple years, as compared to every year or every half year. So it's nice to see their hardware and just the style that they take. I mean, Xbox One had a beautiful design, I think.
Yeah, and PlayStation 4 as well. I think the thing that the game companies have over the smartphone, or that whole market, is that the apps, or not the apps, but the games are so big in themselves.
Yeah, they take so much more time to develop.
But also just like they have their own like big launches.
Yeah.
And so you're not hungry for the next hardware. You're not hungry, like, PlayStation's 4 is not going to come up with a better camera than the PlayStation 3.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Did Andrew Kim, Minimally Minimal, did he work on Xbox One? I think that's the word.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, both pretty nice designs. I have to say the Xbox One controller is beautiful.
I think Xbox One out in ID compared to PlayStation 4, in my opinion.
Although
though I am a PlayStation boy, I'm a PlayStation fanboy.
I would say
I'm not an Xbox guy.
Only by a hair.
Only by a hair.
Only by a hair. Okay. But I think we can move on because we're running out of time.
Well, I don't know. Maybe should we? I mean, we're not even to 2015 yet. Maybe we do a 2-parter,
or we could just do
one long one?
1.5.
Okay. Google Glass is significant.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's infamous. It didn't work out, but I think it's at least
All you glass holes out there.
Google Glass was that first step. Someone has to take the first step.
Yeah.
So it's commendable for sure.
Yeah, but I think that's around the time that Ivy Ross first came to Google, and now, look at what she's done to that ID department. It's pretty remarkable.
All right, 2014, James.
Okay, 2014, we've got the Peloton Bike. I don't know if I can even pronounce this. Vetroline machine Nespresso, the Nespresso machine that you see everywhere.
Yeah, the Nespresso one.
The square stand, Harry's razor. Well, I guess I don't know. I have Google Glass here again, but maybe it was. We'll have to go back and check that. But Amazon Echo, the Ring doorbell, pop sockets.
Oh man,
selfie stick, and the boosted board.
Oh man, the one that stands out for me is pop sockets for sure, man.
Yeah, but
pop sockets are everywhere.
I know.
Pop sockets are the things that are in the back. Like everyone has a pop socket.
Oh yeah, McCain Nilsson has a pop socket.
Yeah, it frustrates me so much.
I think it's actually incorporated into his phone case.
Oh gosh. I'm such a purist. I don't have a case on my phone. I'm just a pure iPhone guy.
Right.
And so it frustrates me when people like put something
that's where you need that iPhone 4, bezel.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know, man.
But I think we should talk about the whole Dollar Shave Club Harry's razor market.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 10s were kind of a D2C boom in a way, right?
Yeah.
You got all these companies now marketing towards consumers instead of. I mean, this was the whole Amazon boom in general,
right? And when did Warby Parker start?
I'm not sure. That's a good question, but this whole decade was kind of a decade of transition out of retail stores and onto our devices.
Yeah. Oh wow, Warby Parker was founded in 2010.
So
yeah,
I mean, that's a significant thing. I mean, I think a lot of these companies have great design because design, like they started out that way.
Yeah.
And so like Harry's razors, obviously great design. Prime Studio.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason I bring up Warby Parker is because one of the founders of Harry's was a founder of Warby Parker.
Yeah, they're all really close knit. I know a lot of the founders are pretty close.
And and I think along that same thread, like I think there have just been a lot of companies that have come through and shaken up stale industries. I mean, I think you probably see this in every decade,
right?
But for this decade, I think about glasses, I think about razors, and I think about toothbrushes.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of and mattresses.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put
there's multiple mattresses.
I don't know if I put Casper in here, but that's another huge one.
The Casper light was pretty significant as well. I think that was a good product.
No, I mean the Casper mattress itself.
Right, but that's just a mattress, man.
It's a third of your life, Nick. For you, maybe more like an eighth. I don't know.
Oh man.
But yeah, obviously like you said, the whole D2C thing was a big deal. It was a big deal in this decade.
Selfie sticks, that's a good one.
Hey man, Amazon Echo, come on. I don't know that anybody was even thinking that this was the next
That's
thing.
true. It did kind of come out of nowhere.
And we have an Echo Dot now.
I don't have Amazon Echo.
I know people are freaked out about privacy. I don't care.
I have Siri. Siri listens to me all the time, but
Siri's awful though. Siri can't tell you anything.
That's true.
No, I mean, but it's an interesting thing because within this decade of screens, and more screens, Amazon comes along with this voice activated.
This is the first
product.
This is the first prominent voice product.
And I would say this is, other than I guess the Kindle, this is like one of the first like real prominent Amazon products outside of the Kindle.
Definitely.
I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like people joke on the Amazon, like the Alexa all the time. So that means that it was significant.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And then Ring doorbell. I mean,
Another smart home thing.
like, okay, boomer, like we all know, like you've been out to dinner with your parents and they're getting a notification from their Ring doorbell.
We don't have that on my house.
Oh, come on.
But now that my dad's listening to it, he might get that. He's probably wired up.
Yeah, get one.
Wired it up to his surround sound system.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like this year was the year of the I don't know. I guess not the influencer.
The vlogger year? You got selfie stick
there we go.
Selfie stick and boosted board in there.
Vlogger year. That's Casey Neistat territory.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Peloton bike.
Yeah.
Nick and I have both done work for Peloton, and they're now a huge company. When I was there, I guess it was 2016 when I started, and it was like pretty big, but like, just one office space, and now they're like,
they're a public company now.
Yeah,
it's like
they're huge.
It's not a startup anymore, I'd say.
I remember there was Shaq had ordered one, and Shaq apparently has his own like custom shoemaker.
What? I guess if your shoes are like size 17.
Yeah, because it takes like these bikes take specific cycling shoes,
right,
in order to ride. So just the image of Shaq riding a Peloton bike it's like a clown riding one of those tiny bikes.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
But another thing that I don't think anybody anticipated the Peloton bike, and just how popular it's become. They do spend a lot on advertising.
Yeah.
But it is sort of an ingenious concept of like, I don't want to leave my house. It's
right.
cold out there. or I don't have the access to the Soul Cycle studios that other people do. I think people have always been trying to figure out how to make the at-home gym appealing. That's why there's companies like Total Gym,
right.
or
episode 73. Go check that out.
Nordic Track. But Peloton, with the whole built-in system of being able to like live stream and on-demand classes so that you feel engaged in a community, is brilliant.
I'm sold.
It's brilliant. Anyway.
All right, James, what we got? 2015.
Oh, 2015. We've got the Apple Watch.
That's pretty big.
We got the Apple Pencil.
Oh.
We've got Quip.
Okay.
We've got Jewel, and we've got Yeezy 350.
Ooh, all right. This is a interesting year here. We got Apple Watch, Apple Pencil, obviously pretty significant, pretty self-explanatory, I think.
Right. The Apple Watch are the rumors true? It was designed by Mark Newson, or at least he had a hand in it.
Is this the first time that Mark was in the studio?
I think so. As far as I know. It has. I'm trying to recall. It has his fingerprints all over. I know because I had to wipe them off.
It certainly feels like a very Newson-y object, but obviously Johnny had a huge hand in as well.
All right, let's not argue over this.
Apple Pencil's pretty good too.
Apple Pencil
kind of opened up to be honest,
killed Wacom.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But there was one fatal flaw with the Apple Pencil that still crushes me to this day.
The cap and how it charges. Oh gosh.
Oh, the charging.
Yeah, charges sticks to the iPad.
Let's see. Let's see if I can get a good picture of the the Apple phallus.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
What were they thinking?
Well, they were thinking, crap, we want to create a stylus, but how do we charge this thing? It was definitely a shoehorned kind of design. Obviously, the new iPad Pro, the latest one,
with
the magnetic
beautiful
charging design is the intended design, but sometimes you just have to design things in that awkward phase. I mean, there's a few things in here that we just talked about. Like, there is that teenage year of design,
Right.
for whatever product industry you're in. It's like there's gonna be awkward products, and sometimes you got to be a part of that because it's just a stepping stone. That's how life works.
I mean, I remember my iPad coming to me and being like, James, why do I have all these weird feelings? What is this hair? Can I have a credit card? I was like, no, you cannot have my credit card.
James, that was so bad.
But
we gotta edit that joke out too.
But yeah, it's
Quip was a good ad here too.
Quip is a
Quip
great
toothbrushes, again, kind of with the DTC boom, Harry's razors thing. Kind of really the first electric toothbrush that actually looked nice, actually looked decent.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing some awesome stuff. We know a few of the Quip guys, so
yeah, it's a beautiful product. I own one myself, and it's one of those things that it's like you could almost imagine the way that they sold this is the Apple of toothbrushes.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how it was. I'm
I'm
sure that's what the marketing scheme internally was. It was like,
right.
All right, we're gonna do the Apple.
I was talking about this the other day. Like, there's always like the Apple of this, the Apple of that.
Right.
And I also feel like in the last decade, there have been all these restaurants that are like, we're the Chipotle of this. We're the Chipotle of that.
That's true, man. That's true.
So it's either Apple or Chipotle. Who are you?
Yeah. We use Chipotle as our currency over here in America.
What if you went to an Apple store and it was set up like a Chipotle? And you would just pick your components.
James?
Don't reach over the glass.
That's $1 million idea right there.
Don't reach over the glass.
Jewel,
pretty
infamous one.
I mean, yeah, it
looks like a USB stick.
It's had a pretty big impact, and lately there's a lot of banning.
Yeah.
Of
vaping in general was a pretty
e-cigarettes,
pretty 2010s thing. I mean, e-cig was around before 2010s, but it really felt like 2010s. It kind of kicked off after the Juul. Like Juul kind of hit the right market. I'm not sure what it was, but
right.
I guess hit the market that enjoys USB sticks or something.
Well, it was one of the first that I remember, like the first e-cigarette that just there were all these weird ones that kind of look like they put hookah mouthpieces.
Yeah, kind of a little bit too much.
Yeah, and this was just like, no, this is just tech. This is a piece of tech.
Yeah,
and it's just a big battery, and just suck on this battery.
Suck on this battery. Tagline there, no tagline. Yeezy, that's a good one.
Yeezy 350.
Yeah, that was kind of like the first. I think that was the first shoe that I remember kind of becoming aware of hype culture.
Wait, what about the what was the Yeezy?
The Wave Runner?
No, the first Adidas.
Oh, the boot.
The boot.
Yeah.
I remember when this came out and having like this was the Cybertruck of its day.
I think it's a 750.
The 750.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the 350 was significant because that was the one that really hit hard.
Right.
But yeah, like I think the idea of these footwear brands kind of coming to fruition in the decade was significant. And I think the 350 had a big hand in that.
We saw a resurgence of the Adidas brand
for sure
in this decade.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean a lot of Kanye's shoes, the Yeezy shoe line, there's a lot of contention around different designs, but I applaud all of them so far.
All right, 2016, James.
2016, we've got AirPods.
That's a solid one.
Got hoverboards. We've got the Serif TV.
Ah.
We now have the Oculus Rift.
Okay.
We've got the Palisade collection for Hey by the Burlex. We've got Google Pixel. We've got Juicero.
Another infamous one.
And we've got the Dyson Supersonic hairdryer.
2016 is pretty solid.
Yeah.
AirPods, gotta say, that's pretty game changing in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting the cords, really making it seamless. There was obviously wireless head earbuds before, but this was the first kind of magical moment. And this was honestly This was another kind of stone, or like it felt like a milestone for Apple's magical moments.
Right.
Before this, like, we had the iPhone 4 and it had been 6 years, and it really hadn't felt like we had anything magical since then.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the iPad, you had the watch, and those were good, but the AirPods really did feel like magic.
Yeah.
Kind of like that first iPhone did.
Yeah, that moment where you're sitting down with your phone and you open up the lid of your AirPods and it immediately pops up on your phone.
Right.
It's just, that was beautiful.
We also have 2 Brulec brothers in this decade. The Serif TV and the Palisade collection. I kind of wanted to put in some... it's a very tech-heavy episode.
Right.
But it's just a tech-heavy decade, to be honest. And I don't know if that happens every decade. It might happen. This is one of those things that you're like, we should just look back 10 years from now, and see how it sounds. But I think Brulex really nailed it with kind of redefining what a TV could be with a Serif TV.
Oh, yeah. And
kind of embellishing it. And then the Palisade collection, that's just a personal favorite of mine. Very beautiful outdoor furniture. I think it'll be a pretty prominent piece in the furniture design world for a good time to come.
Yeah.
I think it'll get up there with like the Eames stuff. So
I definitely, for me personally, the Brulix are probably... Them and Benjamin Hubert are probably my top in terms of designers in sort of like the furniture living space.
Yeah.
I just feel like the Brulix knock it out of the park consistently. And this is a prime example of that.
Hoverboards was fun.
Oh,
did you have a hoverboard?
No, absolutely not.
I didn't have one, but someone at PetMate did, and I would ride it around. And the CEO did not like that. Because I was the youngest. This was, I guess, 2016 was after I'd graduated. It was the very first job I had. I was the young kid. I was like the millennial in this big older corporation. Pretty old. It's not a startup or anything.
Right.
PetMate was pretty corporate, and so like you have this like millennial riding around on a hoverboard. CEO was like, it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the hoverboard was ripe with fails.
Hey, I'm kind of intrigued by the way that it phased out. I honestly thought it was kind of here to kind of stick around and evolve. But
do you remember the one that Minimal
that
designed?
That one was a really beautiful one.
I guess that company just didn't go forward.
Oh, it was called Move.
Oh,
Move,
so
like a cow would
nice.
say move. MOOV.
Move.
Yeah, it was a nice, simple design.
But it's and then there was also the whole thing where the batteries were like exploding.
Yes, for the cheaper Chinese versions, yeah.
Right.
For sure.
And like they would or was it that, or was it laptop battery that were exploding in people's bags?
Well, 2016 was the year of batteries exploding everywhere.
Yeah,
because Samsung phone exploded as well. Was that 2016? It might have been. I can't remember. This was the year that we pushed batteries too far.
We said, batteries, what can you do? And they said,
I think it was 2017.
Not this much.
I think it said 2017. I saw.
Yeah. So, but another product catastrophe.
Juicero. The thing with Juicero is that Yves Bahar designed it, and aesthetically it was a great design. From a conceptual and business plan standpoint, it tanked. Like, just didn't make much sense. Obviously, if you aren't familiar with the Juicero, it's kind of these shipped, you get these packages shipped of fruit juice pulp, and then all it is a machine that just squeezes a package of pulp, and then out comes juice. So it seemed a little bit overkill.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Over-engineered.
It's a lot for a little.
Yeah.
The juice was not worth the squeeze.
Exactly. That's a good way to sum it up.
And there was a video exposing that you could pretty much just squeeze it with your hands. It wasn't like it was such a vacuum sealed.
Right.
I think what it was trying to do was build off of the Nespresso trend.
Right.
And
Of those kind of like quick, easy packets, and you get your juice fix.
But not quite.
Great design though. I feel like for whatever reason, Juicero gets tagged on to use Bahar, even though that it's not necessarily his concept or company. It's only his aesthetic design,
right?
Which is such an interesting thing because it usually doesn't happen. Like if a design fails, no one points to like Johnny Ive or whoever. It's
I point to him all the time.
Johnny, what are you doing? All right, James, we got 2017. We should move on.
Yeah, 2017. Now we're getting into the later years where it's hard to tell what exactly is hitting.
We have less products for these later years.
But we do have two big hitters right now, which are the Nintendo Switch and the fidget spinner.
Ooh, fidget spinner. Because I remember fidget spinning while I was on my hoverboard, man.
Did the fidget spinner, I feel like the fidget spinner came out in 2016.
No, I think it was a little later than the hoverboard.
Really? Because it doesn't feel like the Switch and the fidget spinner came out in the same year. But
oh man, well, we've kind of followed the gaming trend of the Switch. Obviously, I think the Switch is a beautiful summation of the past kind of teenage years with the Wii U and then the Nintendo DS, kind of the early years. But the fidget spinner is just an interesting design because I don't think it was designed by anyone. I think the fidget spinner was one of those designs that kind of happened. Maybe some factory was like, or some entrepreneur was like, hey, I got this idea. And they sent an email to a supplier over in China.
Yeah.
Because the interesting about the fidget spinner is, you got the fidget spinner with like the three kind of wings coming off of it. And in each three of the wings, instead of a dead weight, it's a ball bearing.
Right.
Instead of, like, the fidget spinner spins in the center with a ball bearing. And then the edges, all they need is a dead weight.
Yeah.
But instead of a dead weight, they put ball bearings in. It's just like one of those things that seems very haphazard, but for whatever reason, it just took off.
Yeah. To me, the fidget spinner always seemed like somebody at a ball bearing factory, like who wasn't making crazy amounts of money or was experimenting themselves, like wanted to make their kid a little toy, and they figured out this thing, and then I don't know, like somebody saw that. I'm not sure. I was just looking for, because I feel like there's some things we're missing here, which
I'm sure there's plenty of products we're missing, James.
Yeah, like the Tesla Model 3.
Model 3 was a pretty big,
because that was the first Tesla car
that was like affordable, and it was kind of the Toyota Camry of Tesla.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out what year.
It's 2018, it says? Or no?
Well, it came out in, I guess.
Oh, it was unveiled in 2016.
Okay. Yeah, unveiled in 2016, and then 2018 is when they met its production goal.
That's still pretty significant. I mean,
the first ones came off the line in 2017.
Yeah, I mean, this one was the more economical Tesla.
Right.
Really made it open to a lot of people. So.
The Nintendo Switch.
I mean, you have a Switch. You're a Switch.
I have a Switch, and there was a lot of stories leading up to the launch of the Nintendo Switch. I remember that I think the president of Nintendo died in the interim between the Wii U and the Switch.
Okay.
And I heard things like at the end of every meeting, they basically said like, who was it? They basically said like, this is for him. Like we're doing this for him.
Yeah.
And the Nintendo Switch came out and it blew up. Like it is a big deal. It still is a big deal.
Nintendo is one of those companies that I admire for being different.
Right.
Like they do go above and beyond, and sometimes it fails, like the Wii U, or maybe not fails, but like sometimes it lands flat.
Right.
But when it lands and it lands on point, it can really be an amazing product.
Right.
Like the Game Boy and the Switch. Like, man.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So the CEO was Satoru Iwata, and I think he had been at the company for a very long time and was, beloved. And So anyway, the Nintendo Switch, yeah, I
Was
just
this
feel
kind of
like
last little product that he pushed out there?
yeah, well, I don't know if he had anything to do with the Switch exactly, maybe the early stages.
Maybe just like the vision of the Switch.
But the company was they felt like they had something to prove because the Wii U was not really a success.
Yeah.
And I mean, Nintendo smartly was like, we own the mobile market. Like, how can we bridge this gap between the mobile and the console?
Yeah.
And they did it.
They did it in a beautiful way.
And it's great. It's the funniest thing to me about the Switch is it is one of those ideas that I saw in critique after critique in college and would just be like, psh, oh my God, another one of these.
It does feel very kind of course, or like, yeah, make a gaming console that is portable and then you mount it and it plays on your TV. Like, it seems very, it's the way that they executed it, I think, is the significant part.
It's like the Arc mouse. It's like, yeah, it's, that sounds cool, but is it really practical? I mean, people have iPads. Are they really going to buy this thing?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, the other thing with Nintendo is they have so many great titles. Like, they just, between Mario and Zelda and
Pokemon.
Yeah, everything. It's just like because they have those inside developers that are working closely with the hardware, they can really make unique game experiences that feel like they were made, like so much in tandem.
Right. Yeah, Switch is a good one.
So anyway.
All right, 2018, James.
iPad Pro.
That's all we got.
That's all we got.
I mean,
I might have run out of steam at this point.
Well, no. I think it's a good point again. Like, now that we're kind of closer to the past, it's harder to tell. But
yeah,
iPad Pro is certainly significant. Obviously, a throwback to the iPhone 4 with the square edges, and then kind of fixing the problem that we already mentioned earlier about the charging with the pencil.
Yeah,
it's just a beautiful object as well.
Right. And
2019,
we've got the Oculus Quest and we've got that Cybertruck.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously we've already talked extensively about Cybertruck. Oculus Quest, pretty significant. The first standalone VR headset. People are calling it the iPod of VR. Yeah, I think that was a pretty solid decade.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody on the Discord that helped out. And it was a fun time to just like look back and think about what was significant and why.
Yeah.
And to see the trends as they evolved.
Yeah.
And refined. I
think also just one last thing. I mean, certainly, obviously every decade has a pretty significant, impact on our lives. It's progress. I think the big thing was we were trying to focus on industrial design, but also when we get into design in general and more UX and UI, you got to touch on Instagram, right, as an app that blew up in this past decade and has helped us all connect. Like, we wouldn't all be here without that. Oh, James pulled up another one.
Man, I missed one.
We got Teenage Engineering.
2011 Teenage Engineering OP1.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Teenage Engineering is good little synth products.
Man, it was.
James is still searching more. We got more.
No, I'm just pulling up the images. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it has been a great decade.
Do you have any future predictions? Like, what's the next decade going to be? Just for fun. I mean, you don't have to get it wrong. I mean, we're going to get it wrong. You don't have to get it wrong? We are going to get it wrong. I don't have to get it wrong,
but I will.
We are going to get it wrong.
I feel like I'm curious to see if there will be a phone killer. If we will no longer be carrying these rectangles in our pockets.
I feel like
in the next decade,
sometime. I do agree. I think that's my prediction for the next decade, is that we will slowly move into some sort of AR, VR space where we aren't necessarily interacting with rectangle screens. We might still have them in our pockets as a computing source, but our interactions will be more in a space.
Right.
I think that's my prediction as well.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
But yeah.
Oh, that was a long episode. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Well, I want to know, Nick, what was your favorite product of the last decade?
That's a good question. Oh man, I should go back and look at all these.
I would think that it would be pretty easy answer, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, you already can guess?
I feel like I can.
I mean, there's a lot of them that are really good. Cybertruck.
That's not your favorite. You don't know that.
I mean, Oculus.
Yeah, that was what my guess would be.
I think Oculus was the most impactful for me personally.
Yeah.
My favorite design, like I put the Palisade in here. From an aesthetic standpoint, but certainly like VR has impacted me
Right.
professionally, and that's been huge.
Yeah.
What about you, James?
Let me take a look.
That's a hard question. It's so hard to pick from 10 years worth of products.
It's
what is your favorite thing that
it's very hard.
10 years?
And I'm trying to think of something that like I still live with or I still think about.
B&O?
I do love the B&O stuff. Oh my gosh. I should like in giving you that question, I could have anticipated this question myself.
I gotta throw it back to you, man.
Yeah,
that's how it goes. I mean, I feel like you're also a Switch guy too. Switch was pretty good.
I do like the Switch, but God, it's so hard. It is so hard to pick one. Like I honestly, I'm trying to think of the thing that I use the most often, and honestly, it's between my phone and my AirPods.
That's what I was thinking too.
That I use the most often.
AirPods is a
like,
good choice.
Music is such a big part of my life. So maybe I have to give it up to Sonos. Like just in general, I feel like my life is so much about music, and so Sonos and my AirPods and all of those things, and like, you know, I had to say that initially I was kind of skeptical about AirPods and how much I would actually like them, but after you wear AirPods for a while and then you wear a corded headset and you try to walk around and like immediately get caught on everything in your house.
This is where the memes come from, James.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think it mostly has to do with the way that we consume music in this decade. I would
definitely agree with you, because each year you have written down a Bluetooth speaker. So yeah. I would say that music was the most impactful for you for sure.
So anyway, we would love to know what your favorite designs of the decade are. So hop on the Discord or send us a message.
Let us know.
And let us know if we missed anything.
Oh, we definitely missed.
We missed a lot. But there's only so much you can cover in an hour and a half.
But yeah, thanks again for listening, guys.
Yeah.
As always, an intro and outro is by the awesome KYOSHY the Kid. Do all the fun stuff, like subscribe on Spotify and all that stuff.
And YouTube.
Yeah. And as always, I'm at Nick P. Baker.
And I'm at iDrawn Receipts.
Peace.
Later.